What's up, weirdos? What's going on, guys? All right, so let's get this party started. Let's see what's going on out there. Bitcoin still ping-ponging in the golden pocket here that we put. Looks piss yellow to me instead of gold, but let's keep it going, guys. Let's keep it going. All right, so like I said, I think the Bitcoin's probably going to bounce between 109,500 and 110,500 right here inside this yellow pocket. I think we're going to find a level of consolidation in this range where Bitcoin's going to consolidate. And I think that this is where altcoins are going to start to move. Crow is starting to move again this afternoon. After the announcement, we saw a pump up 30%. Followed by some profit taking. Crow is currently trying to break resistance. It's up 31% now. We'll have a look at the Crow chart in a few minutes, but let's get into the super chats first. There she is, Gamma Goddess in the house. Let's get this money. Absolutely. Eddie, my dude, what's up, man? Thanks for all your hard work and dedication, Rob, dealing with all the knuckleheads on a daily basis. It's got to be exhausting. It can be. It absolutely can be, brother. Absolutely. But hey, that's what we do, right? That's what we do. All right, let's get into the chat. What do we got here? William, good to see you, brother. H. Barbarina in the house. H. Barbarina says, make sure you hit that like button when you come in, guys. Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy. 154 people watching, 50 likes, guys. Let's get to 100 likes. First off, I'll Papa freeze all the honeys. Let's go, Ron. So this timeline is all messed up. Do we think we will take any profits or rollover before the parabolic run? I hope so, but it's been fun just talking with everyone about crypto. Absolutely. Absolutely, man. Sometimes it's not the destination that matters. It's the journey, right? I think I learned that from, I don't know, The Lion King or something. Anyway, William says, line it up. Ty, good to see you, man. Good to see another local in the house. Hey, Rob, love the smell of panic sellers in the morning. Absolutely. Jake the Snake in the house. Goodbye, everyone. I'll remember you in therapy. Absolutely. Wolfbane working, just dropping in. We'll watch later. My guy, my dude. Jake the Snake says, unacceptable. You must make your boss watch with you. Absolutely. And your boss must drop a super chat. It's just, I don't make the rules. I don't make the rules. Okay. Strawberry Dragon. Working for some more dry powder and watching. I appreciate you too. I appreciate you too. It's me, Mario. ¿Qué pasa? What's happening, Senor Rob? Hold my hand. I'm putting all my last dry powder in. Hey, that's all you can do, man. Deploy and wait, right? Nothing wrong with that. Crypto JPEG, let's get this Crypto Future live stream pump going. Guys, make sure you hit the like and subscribe on the way in. It helps the channel grow. It's absolutely free to do, so go ahead and get that done for me. I would appreciate it. We have 169 people watching, 60 likes. Let's keep pushing those likes to a new all-time high. Eric, how do you attempt to determine how high an alt will pump during an alt season? Jump over to the Patreon and ask questions like that, and you will get answers and training. We drop education over on our Patreon community. You know that. Lord of the Realm, what's going on, man? Quentin, good to see you, buddy. Frank's in the house. Ray, bought some XCN last night and trying a bit more after I get off work in an hour. Hit the like button. Can I get an amen? Can I get an amen? Motivation Daily, need to work for that dry powder, but leaving a like for the latest and greatest. Mandatory, absolutely. Join the Patreon. Can I get an amen to that? I hope we keep going lower so I can buy more, says Harlem. Absolutely. Nice logo change. Thank you. Yes, we went for a little bit of a rebrand. Looking good, feeling good, guys. I do have an announcement to make for the channel. So from now on, our Saturday afternoon live streams at 1 p.m. We're going to do them at 1 p.m. on Saturdays. They are now officially special guest Saturdays, where every Saturday I will have a different special guest YouTuber on the channel. So you're going to have to be here to find out who it is every single Saturday afternoon, guys. AF, hey, Brother Rob and Crypto Family, thank you for all your hard work you do, brother. Patiently waiting to see things coming back on track. There you go. Absolutely. What do we got? Crypto Jared in the house. I'm happy to be here, but I'm ready for some face melting soon. Absolutely. Motives. We need BTC to reclaim 115. Let's go. Probably going to be a bit, but altcoins are going to run in the meantime, in my opinion. Ibrez smashing the likes. Let's go. Miller Mountain says, happy to be here as always, Rob. Your consistency and reliability is the true gem of this space. Thank you so much. Ramona says, hit that like button. Can I get an amen to that? Absolutely. Absolutely. Did you hear Trump is putting the GDP on the blockchain? Yes, absolutely bullish. Like and subscribe, says AF, and join the Patreon, guys. Absolutely. If you're not on the Patreon, it's a cup of coffee, guys. I don't know what you're doing with your life. I don't know how you're expecting to succeed in a space and become a multimillionaire without investing in your education. Can you go to college and university and learn to be a doctor for free? Why wouldn't you? Why would you expect it to become a multimillionaire in crypto for free, right? Jake the Snake. I flew ahead a little bit. Where are we here? Fleming. Hey, Rob, hanging out like a ninja. There you go, but still watching your great and dedicated work for us and you. Absolutely. Cookie dough. The first guest will be BitBoy, and then the market will crash again. Yes. Jake the Snake, I accept your invitation to be a special guest. Lion King, you're funny. Hello, Rob. Absolutely, Elizabeth. Elizabeth in the house. How are you doing, Elizabeth? Good to see you here. David, I vote Caesar for the first guest. He's put so many people onto your channel. Caesar is definitely on the list. He's already booked in for a Saturday, but it's always going to be random, and I'm never going to tell you ahead of time who the special guest is going to be. I will tell you Caesar is on the list. However, we need Jasmine as our first guest, or Jerry as our first guest. Absolute cinema. Jerry. Yeah, Jerry Banfield. We got to get Jerry Banfield on the channel so he can tell us that everything's going to zero except for ICP. Carlos says, maybe the bull run was all the friends we made along the way. Exactly. I still got this cough, guys. I still got this cough. I don't know what that's from, Carlos. I can't remember, brother. I can't remember. Oh, Gary Gensler, guest number 1. Absolutely. That would be epic. I need Rob to do TA on my life. All the ups and downs. You're in a bear flag. You're in a bear flag. It's going to rug on you. It's going to rug. Be careful. All right, what do we got? 198 people watching. 75 likes. Let's get to 100, guys. While we get into the news, let's see what's going on out there in the crypto space. WWE Saturday's main event. Let's get it. All right, quick shout out to the channel sponsor, Decent Biometric Wallet, guys. Not your keys, not your coins. Keep your crypto safe. Keep it off of exchanges in your own self-custody. Simply use our link down below. Get a 2-for-1 deal on the biometric wallets today, guys. You can stake, and you can even take profits right on there without your crypto ever leaving your custody. Stake your stablecoin and gain APY all the live long day. What do we got here? Ramona. I vote for AM Otaku Saturdays. There you go. There you go. Otaku is obviously on the list. He's my guy. He's my dude. Roberto puts the smackdown on Gary. When's Shiba gonna skyrocket? Who knows, my friend? Who knows at this point? All right. Let's go have a look at the Bitcoin dominance. Continues to work its way down. Yep, continuing to work its way to the downside. You love to see that, guys. As Bitcoin dominance drops, altcoins are kind of trying to recover here. it all looks very, very bullish. All right, let's get into the latest and greatest, shall we? All right, Tom Lee just said Ethereum is going to hit $5,500 in the next couple of weeks.
Price targets for end of year for Ethereum and the S&P 500, and your logic for those two.
Yeah, I think Ethereum, in the near term, 5,500 should be happening in the next couple weeks. But by the end of the year, I think it should be closer to 10 to 12,000 for ETH. But it's because, most of the move in crypto does come in the fourth quarter. So if you're up 35% year to date, well, if you're going to be up 200%, it's going to all happen in the next few months. And for the S&P, if the Fed follows through and begins to cut, which is our expectation, and then we get a drop in mortgage rates and the ISM turning up, financials really begin to participate, I think that's why we get to 6,800 or so on the S&P. So still a lot of upside. Of course, as you know, September is the month everyone's going to be worried about. So that's a month where you might get a pullback, but you need to be buying that tip.
So the seasonal weakness in September, you would say, would just be another opportunity.
Yes, that's right. And as you know, every pullback, everyone has been ringing the bell saying it's the top. That has always been a dip buying opportunity since 2022. So I just say keep that in mind, that you really should be buying a dip.
$5,500 Ethereum in the next couple of weeks. I'd buy that for $1. Let's go. Let's check out the Coinbase app ranking. Ramona, what's the difference between a bull flag and a bull pennant? Actually, Ramona, what I will do, I will add that to the training videos over on the Patreon, and I will break that down for you on a special Patreon video dedicated to our very own crypto mom, Ramona. Absolutely. I'll take care of that for you. Swift going to 20 cents soon, hopefully. Absolutely. Yeah, I saw Cesar's video on that as well. Parallel Life, what's going on? Liquidity, what's up, everyone? Hope everyone's doing amazing. Definitely setting up for a green week. Can't wait for that run up. Absolutely. We'll see what happens. We're going to have to stay locked in, guys. Coinbase app ranking as of this morning, 305 up from yesterday's 322. Even among finance apps at 25, even with yesterday's 25. So, absolutely. Tom Lee makes me want to inject Ethereum. Me too, man. Me too. Absolutely. I feel you on that. We got yet another clip here. What do we have over here? All right. So, former White House director, crypto director, Bo Hines says he is confident in the U.S. will buy more Bitcoin in 2025.
The Strategic Bitcoin Reserve has been signed into law through executive order. There's some infrastructure that's required in order to get things set up properly. And so I'm still very confident that the U.S. government is going to be keenly interested on moving expeditiously on budget neutral ways to accumulate. So I'd tell people just to, keep their eyes and ears open for that news that eventually I'm sure will come. But Patrick's working on that, as I can imagine. The last time that we've been truly able to speak on digital asset issues was the day before I left, but I'm very confident in his abilities for the industry. And look, the president obviously has been a steadfast leader in the space. He's made it vehemently clear that this is a major priority for him, and that includes the SBR. And then we also have the Digital Assets National Stockpile as well, which I think was really just our attempt to give credence to the other ecosystems and what's being built over there. We want to welcome innovation here in the US, and we want to make sure those other ecosystems continue to thrive and grow. But we'll see. And I certainly you could hang around and love to be a part of all of it, but I felt as if it's always good to bring a new set of eyeballs in every once in a while, have a fresh, clean look. I'd been in the weeds of this for over 8 months, and I'm super proud of everything we've accomplished and super thankful for the president and David for their support and their push through all of it. But, we have market structure on the horizon now, so I'll be, watching diligently, just like many of you, to see how this unfolds. But I'm confident they'll be able to bring that home as well. And you'll have 2 monumental pieces of crypto legislation signed into law this year, firmly cementing the United States' place as the crypto capital of the world.
So he figures that the White House will find a way to continue purchasing Bitcoin. You love to hear that. Big Kev Zebek looks like it's about to bounce, in my opinion. Let's go, Zebek. Yeah, I mean, I would agree. Zebek usually runs counter Bitcoin, so if Bitcoin consolidates, look for Zebek to really start to go on a run. Trump removes Fed governor, dollar stability in question. President Trump has removed Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook on the August 25th, 2025, citing false statements on mortgage documents, raising questions about the stability of the U.S. monetary institution. The move has intensified scrutiny on the U.S. dollar stability as an institutional credibility, potentially affecting market perceptions and increasing volatility in cryptocurrency and financial markets. I personally don't think that him firing Lisa Cook from the Federal Reserve affected the crypto markets. President Trump removed Federal Reserve Lisa Governor today. This action has raised concerns about the stability of the U.S. dollar and the credibility of U.S. monetary institutions. Donald Trump cited fraud allegations in the removal of Lisa Cook. She reportedly declared 2 primary residents in Michigan and Georgia, leading to her dismissal. This event is unprecedented in modern history. Let me just stop the bus right there for a second, guys, and say to you that while some people are saying that Trump had no right to fire her for committing fraud on her mortgages, I can tell you this. If someone went back in Trump's history and found that he had done the exact same thing and committed fraud on a mortgage, they would move to have him impeached. It would be the biggest deal in U.S. history over the next 2 months that Trump committed fraud on a mortgage application. So, anyone who thinks that he's overreacting by firing her for committing fraud needs to look at the other side of that coin. And you know it's true. You know it's true. They would move to have that man impeached in seconds if he did it, right? The pennant goes down, but the volume is too low, Rob. Sorry about that. When will Jasmine make me financially free? Soon. The removal has sparked uncertainty about U.S. monetary policy in the financial markets. Analysts are watching dollar stability and institutional impacts closely. Financial markets exhibited increased volatility following the news. Beebs, good to see you, brother. Good to see you, man. The move has financial and social implications affecting trust in U.S. institutions. There is speculation on how this could influence interest rates and financial regulation. How would this affect interest rates? That is the dumbest thing it's the dumbest thing I've heard today anyways, right? Lisa Cook committing fraud on her mortgage applications and getting fired for it somehow has implications on potential rate cuts? What? How does that compute? The absence of direct statements from major crypto figures leaves room for speculation. Financial regulators have yet to comment on this matter. Crypto markets may react to the institutional instability. That is the dumbest stretch I think I've ever. That is really, really reaching. That's really reaching, in my opinion. But I digress. Let's see what else we got. Let's segue over to Squawk Box. Former House Speaker Kevin McCarthy. I don't like the Fed being politicized. Let's check it out.
Got the right man at the table this morning to talk about all the news out there. President Trump saying he's going to be firing Fed Governor Lisa Cook. Says he's fired her already. The government, of course, taking a stake in Intel. Kevin McCarthy is here, former House Speaker, now Alpha Institute Chairman. It's great to see you as we try to understand what this all means. First of all, just tell me what you think of the firing. And do you believe, as we were talking to Steve Leisman before, that she has been fired, she's officially fired, and now she's going to effectively have to go to court to keep her job, or Trump is going to have to go to court to keep her from going to the job?
I'm not an attorney, so I don't know the official answer, but I think this is going to be a test case. We're going to find out, is there cause? The president has the right with cause. to remove her. Maybe there's another ability. She says she's going to stay, so I think it's going to come down to the courts.
But do you imagine that the next time she tries to walk into a Fed building,
she could have a problem?
There are going to be security folks from instructed by the White House to effectively prevent her from making her way.
Well, the law says
building.
the president has the right to remove somebody for cause. So he laid out his cause, and I think the way the law reads is she's removed now, and she's going to have to go to court to reverse that if she got a decision in her direction.
Okay, so then the next question gets to maybe the larger picture about Jay Powell, who this president has been after for quite some time. Do you believe this is just a almost test case, if you will, for whether he could fire Jay Powell?
No, because I think the Supreme Court's made the decision, and in Trump's mind, I believe he's decided, look, and he's actually answered this question too. He's gone in May. Now, does that mean the president waits till May to name his replacement? I don't believe that's the case. I believe the president could, as early as next month or the month after, name who will become chair. They've got to go through the process to get confirmed,
right,
and they'll be prepared.
Let me ask you a different question.
Sure.
As a Republican,
yes,
are you troubled in any way by the politics of what's happened here with Cook? That's not to say that Cook has not done something inappropriate or wrong. Steve Leisman and I were talking earlier. You can hold two ideas in your mind. You could say that she's done something wrong and this has been politicized.
Yeah.
Does this look to you like it's a weaponization of the president's role? And I ask because there was lots of times where you came on before and thought that Biden or other politicians, Democrats, were weaponizing the system against folks like Trump or some of your own colleagues.
Well, I think it was weaponized against Trump, and I think the court decisions just recently show that's the case. But I mean, I think your true question is, are we politicizing the Fed? But there's a big argument. Did Powell make decisions for political purposes at a certain time before an election on moving it? I think most people believe that to be true. Is this just escalating it to the next level? I don't know. The country's going to sit back and see which way it goes. I don't like the Fed being politicized. I mean, I listened to the talk earlier, which I thought was pretty interesting, that you now say who appointed who within the Fed. Because I really believe when people get on the Fed, regardless of who they're appointed by, they kind of come together and they're looking just at a financial basis. And that's how I want the Fed to play out.
So does it would it bother you if, for example, you looked at that screen that had the red and the blue under each person, and if either a majority or all of them somehow had red under their name, would that be a problem? And if I told you all of them had blue under their name, would that be a problem?
Look,
for you?
I mean, people, I know there's good people on both sides of the aisle, and I think we damage people by saying, because you appointed me, I think I'm just going to follow you. I don't think that's the case. And the argument is you're trying to make, is the president creating this, or do we create this? Why did we start putting states red and blue? So we build this up through our own media that we assume California is a far left state, but there's a lot of Republicans in there. We assume these other states, and I think
isn't the
that's
concept
a mistake
that
America does.
I think the hope is that those people on that screen that are Fed governors today are not loyalists to any political
I don't think
right?
they're loyalists to any side. I think they look from a perspective, and then they can have difference of opinion.
Right, but isn't what the president is saying that he wants to put in people who agree with him, and some people look at that and say they're loyalists. That's
every president says that, members of Congress and Senate, and when they go to confirm them, they ask them, do you agree with me? When you do the Supreme Court, do you agree with me? And now we're getting to the point where people will say, I can't agree with anything, otherwise I can't get confirmed.
But I think it's fair to say that for many decades, cabinet appointments that go through those hearings in the Senate, Supreme Court appointments that go through those hearings in the Senate, they are people with a political persuasion. Historically, Fed appointments haven't been. They've been people with an economic expertise. And maybe there's too much groupthink in there, and we could go through that argument. But have we now turned a corner where the most qualified people who might have very high-paid jobs in finance or whatever aren't going to even want to be considered for these types of roles? And you're appointing politicians going forward?
I don't believe so. I believe You can talk to a lot of people. They'd love to be on the Fed. I hear from them all the time. You look at the number of people campaigning for chair without campaigning for it, right? That is a major honor to do. And when you get on the Fed, you are pretty independent. I mean, you're not interacting with the House and the Senate. You're making decisions and people are waiting to hear what's being done. It's still going to be that way. And look, the law says you can remove somebody for cause. I have not heard her come back and argue I didn't do something wrong.
And that's what we've talked with Steve about, which is,
and I think
if the answer was pretty simple, I think you would have heard the answer already.
And had she done that, I think this would be a different situation.
Right.
Hey, I didn't do something wrong. I didn't realize that I was docu-signing something and someone pre-checked that box.
Okay, let's pivot for a second to the other big topic of the day, of the week, of the month.
What's that?
The stake in Intel. And maybe even more importantly, some of the comments that Kevin Hassett made on this broadcast yesterday, and then the president followed up later.
I missed it. I was at West Point yesterday. So what did he say yesterday?
He said that the government is planning to take additional stakes. If given the opportunity to take stakes in other U.S. enterprises, that the U.S. government will and would like to do so. We're going to talk to Howard Lutnick about this, in addition to, the sovereign wealth fund that the U.S. that he would like to set up.
Yeah.
And I'm just curious about how you as a Republican feel about this. And I ask because, as we said to Kevin Hassett, since the 1980s, Reagan used to say that the 9 most dangerous words in America I'm here from the government and I'm here to help.
Look, and look, in my principle, I fundamentally believe, I don't like government owning businesses. I don't think that, I think America is more affected by competition. I think that's why we surpass others. But I think this is the follow-up question you have to ask to Kevin and the others. Intel is different than other companies. We are in a battle about AI and quantum, and chips are fundamental. And you've got China looking and Xi saying he's going to invade by 27. So this is where I put an asterisk to my philosophical belief. But I want government to do something about rare earth. I want to do something about chips. And I don't want to be beholden to China. Okay.
Right.
There's the whole reason.
But then you support the sale of NVIDIA and AMD chips.
Okay, I'll answer that, but let me finish. This is the whole reason I created the Select Committee on China, which is very bipartisan. Because if you read Graham Allison's Destined for War, 16 times in the history of the world, the number 2 power has surpassed the number 1. Only 4 times they didn't go to war. If we had learned anything from COVID, we are too dependent on China. They control 90% of the minerals, 95% of the processing, and government came in and partnered with a mine, which normally philosophically I would oppose to, but I support that. So I would put an asterisk at this. If this is about chips, I'm going to say this is a smart move.
Okay, can I ask a separate question then?
Yes.
Are you an advocate of NVIDIA and AMD selling their lower power chips to China and the U.S. taking an additional VIG in exchange for that opportunity? To me, it's not the question, do we get money for doing it? I don't play into that. The question, do you wish that we didn't put that in the mix? Because that does politicize it.
The macro approach here is, how are we looking to compete with China? Are we looking to have 2 separate worlds with China, where then we're getting into a Cold War. Okay. Then we're saying China's taking one part and they're making a chip in this part of the world, and Huawei is dominating in this area, and we're going to try to dominate there. I think long term it's better that if we're worried about us being dependent upon them, I'd rather have them dependent upon us.
Okay, play this out with me.
Okay.
How about TikTok?
Yeah.
So here we had Congress actually created a rule, a law to outlaw this thing because it was a national security threat.
Yes.
You and so many others came on this television program and said, hair on fire, this thing is an actual threat to the nation, and it's like an imminent, immediate threat to the nation, right? And here we are, how many?
Okay, to be fair, this happened when I had left Congress. But in that law, if you read that law, it also put a provision in there for the president, like we do on tariffs, to have to pause or do something different. And I think from a political basis, 100 million Americans use this. And we dealt with this in a Congress before I was there.
You do see all the inconsistencies here, right? Like, you do see that the public looks at this between TikTok on one end, AMD and NVIDIA on the other end.
The golden share.
Now wait a minute, but I think you're taking a small part and you're not threading all the way through. because on TikTok, the president says he is going to do something. And this is what in the president's first term wanted to do with TikTok, but couldn't get all the way. Americans are concerned, everybody is, about our privacy, but more importantly about that data.
Right.
So what I understand the president do, what he tried to be before, don't let that go to China. So put that into an American thing. But he's also negotiating with China right now. That's why I think the TikTok is still sitting out there.
And it's a chess piece in the larger tariff
But I think if that data then goes to, let's say, Oracle or something and sits inside Texas,
fine,
that solves the problem that people, and that's being consistent.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, Focus, but at the same time, these things, you cannot be ignorant to these things happening because they drastically affect crypto markets. You have to be paying attention, right? It's some of it can be kind of dry, but it's all relevant and it all matters. Bitcoin endures stormy market conditions. Bitcoin value recently dropped to a 7-week low of around $109,000, triggering forced liquidations within the derivatives market. This led to approximately 2% drop in the total value of the cryptocurrency market. According to CoinGlass, over 900 million in leveraged positions have been liquidated in the past 24 hours, mostly due to longs trades. Experts point to increased nervousness around upcoming macroeconomic data as the cause of this short-term market turmoil. I believe we do have PPI, or not PPI. We have jobs, I think, early next month, and I can't remember what is this week, I think. Sean Dawson, research director at Drives. I read about that this morning, so I'm not going to cover that again. So the rest of this I read this morning, so I'm not going to bore you with it. Basically, what we have PPI. Sorry, here it is. This is what we covered this morning. The spike is attributed to the PPI data that happened. Potential retests. They're calling for potential retests of $100,000. I don't personally think Bitcoin's going to get down that far. I could see Ethereum retesting 4,000, but possible. But I really don't think so. I think people are being dramatic right now because I'm getting a lot of requests for that. So as you can see, we looked at Crow this morning. We are in the high static area here, guys. Like I said, I put this little golden pocket here this morning, and I told you guys it was going to be a lot of static in this range. There's a lot of liquidity built up, a lot of sell orders and stuff. And as you can see, we are struggling with it, right? So to break through here, if we can break through there, where would our next kind of significant level be? We don't really have a significant level after that until, I mean, look at that run up. We don't have another real significant level until around, probably right around here at the earliest. At the earliest, you'd be looking at right around there, around 40 cents, man. 40 cents 9. You could do a 100% move if you break through here. There's no resistance really to speak of after this little static area here. So you could see a nice juicy move to the upside on Crow if you can get through this area of liquidity, right? You could see a 100x, boom, up to 40 cents. I mean, pray to whatever God you believe in, my friends, that it happens, right? So that's what Crow's looking like right now. We got quite a bit of green going on in the altcoins, really, guys. It's kind of a mixed bag right now. Go look at the bubbles. See, it's kind of a mixed bag. A little bit of recovery taking place this evening across the altcoin space as Bitcoin dominance drops. Altcoins are starting to recover very nicely. And yeah, all right, guys. Well, listen. I have a coaching call to do over on the Patreon, and then I have a live stream over there that I got to do. So if you want to continue the live, guys, jump over to the Patreon. The link is in the chat. It's in the pinned comments. It's in the description. We're doing a lot of swing trades over there on the swing trade tier. I'm teaching you guys how to swing trade as well. We're also dropping micro cap gems like your Tic Tacs. Get over there, guys. Join myself and thousands of other members today. It's less than the price of a cup of coffee. Check it out, guys. Again, the link is down below. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. I'll see you guys in the next one. God bless.